Hello, everybody. I've got a really interesting topic to share with you guys today. You might want to call it a little bit woo-woo, but I want to add some science behind it because I really do feel like sometimes the energetic world gets a little bit of a bad rap with it being classed as woo-woo or something that is more spiritually aligned than scientific. But I actually want to share with you some content today to help you understand why energy and frequency is actually a really important scientific structure to understand. And I want to talk about that in the context of recruitment. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory here. My new program has a team of wellbeing practitioners as part of the support delivery. So every week we'll be having a practitioner come in of a particular expertise. You know, we've got neurophysiologists, we've got psychologists, we've got breathwork practitioners, we've got all of these like legendary people coming in. Anyway, the neurophysiologist came in last week and started talking to us about frequencies and energy. And basically the response from the coaching group was of surprise, like, and it prompted me to think, I need to do some more content on this. I need to really get it out. But basically, there was a comment made about recruitment, and we all know that people, business owners have generally been having difficulty attracting the right people, to apply for jobs. And also, even you think you've got the right person, and then you find out you don't. And it's this bit of a merry-go-round sometimes with recruitment. And I want you to think about this in a different way. What we know about energy, or in psychology, we call it emotional transference and countertransference. It's actually an energetic exchange. You might notice this. Have you ever been in a situation where you have felt a vibe or felt an energy or an emotion that somebody else was feeling, right? Um, because emotions are an energy, like there's a physiology about them, and you can actually absorb and pick up different emotional frequencies. And in psychology, like I said, we call that emotional transference and countertransference. The exchange of energy. Now, that is not woo woo, that's science, okay? Because an emotion is an energetic force that we can actually pick up the frequency of. That's quantum physics, okay? So it's legit, it's not woo woo. And I want you to think about, if you have had repeated experiences of, hiring the wrong people, or, team members were just not aligned, or whatever that might be, maybe it's worthwhile checking your own energetic outputs, and we could go down the law of, but some of the law of attraction stuff is based on the quantum physics of energy and emotional exchange, right? And it is true that what we put out there is because energy is attracted to like energy. So if you've got low energy, it attracts low energy ions, right? If you've got high energy, it attracts high energy. Like the energetic forces like to kind of bind with things that are of the same intensity. So when you think about your energetic output, if you are low mood, if you are burnt out, if you are overwhelmed, if you are frustrated, unfortunately, what that means from a quantum physics perspective and an emotional transference and countertransference is that you are going to be drawing in people that are vibrating on the same emotional frequency as you, right? So you might think that you're just unlucky that you just keep having these, circumstances where you're recruiting the wrong people and they end up being low vibe and not motivated and not the right fit, by looking at your own internal world, right? Because if you're not healthy emotionally and psychologically, unfortunately, the emotional frequency you're putting out is going to bind to people that are of the same kind of energetic frequency, right? And like I said, this is not woo woo. Like, this is actually quantum physics. It's a fact that like energy attracts like energy. So have a think about it when you're going to recruitment and you're interviewing and you're connecting with people and you're hiring and you're setting up your onboarding, and where is your energy at? And energy can't be, what's the word for it, you can't save face with energy, right? So you're not able to put on a, we all do it, obviously we're not firing on all cylinders all of the time, but your poker face or your game face that is hiding, fatigue or overwhelm or burnout, it doesn't work. You're still, exchanging the underlying emotional state with that other person, which means that, even if you're putting on the game face or the poker face and but you're still super stressed out behind the scenes, that's still going to have an impact on the people that you're attracting and engaging and having conversations with, about coming on board. So what do you do about it? It's like, oh, well, okay, what do I just don't hire when I'm feeling burnt out? Like, obviously, one of the reasons why I'm burnt out is because I need help, So what I would say to you is that, like, you need to get tactical. And the tactical is that you put a job out, you go to recruitment, you shortlist people, you interview, all of that sort of stuff. They're the tactics. You also need to work internally. So if you're not feeling 100% and you're really tired and you're really stressed and you're overwhelmed, then you need to fix that as well. Just going to the tactics and just hiring more people, just onboarding more people won't actually fix the problem if you don't address the internal state. In fact, like I said, the risk that you actually get people that are, unknowingly attracted to low energy, means that you probably end up in a worse off situation than when you started. Because we all know the impact of a bad hire. How much stress and overwhelm does that create? Absolutely makes things worse. And not just that, it actually costs you a lot of money in the end, and then you've got to start all over. So it's not just about, the tactics and putting the job out and going through the motions. It's also about the internal state, and that can be things like, looking at the way that you talk to yourself. If there's a lot of negativity in there, if there's a lot of pessimism, if there's a lot of doom and gloom, you've got to flip that. Like, you're not going to achieve great things when internally, your inner dialogue sounds like a shit show, a punch up, a boxing ring. Like, that's not healthy. The other part of it is rest and self restoration. Even though your business might be demanding certain things from you, and you might be struggling to get all of that done, you need to equally balance that out with restoring yourself, like actually having time out, actually doing things that you enjoy. And that might be the last thing that you're thinking of in a crisis situation, but I'm telling you, for you to endure the intensity of that crisis situation, you have to balance it. Otherwise, you're not going to sustain it. And like I said, energetically, you're going to be putting out, frequency, emotional frequency, that's not going to serve you in the long run. It's not going to bring you the right people. It's not going to attract the right things in your life. So if you're sitting there wondering, oh, maybe this isn't all bad luck, you're right. It's not bad luck. It's what's happening outside of you can be directly related to your internal experience and the energetic frequencies that you're putting out there. It's legit. So when you sit in a space of, oh, I just can't get a break, it's just bad luck, it's this, it's that, it's the economy, it's the all of the external, and a lot of that being outside of your control, that's a very powerless position to sit in, you know, and that might be comfortable to a certain degree because when it's all outside of yourself, it's kind of like, well, what can I do? Nothing, you know. Really, the acceptance and the responsibility taking that what you're putting out there is what you're attracting, and and what's coming to you means that you've got to do the internal work in addition to the tactics and the strategies to actually change this, engage in the strategies to change the situation, right? So there's no such thing as bad luck, right? It's more likely that, from a frequency perspective, what you're putting out there, because you're not doing the work, because you're not addressing the eternal state, maybe because you're in avoidance, maybe because you don't feel like you've got the mental capacity to do that, is going to perpetuate the turmoil. You have to do it. You have to do the work internally as well as externally. There's no escape. Take that as good as or bad news. It's good news. My perspective is that it's great news because you can actually do something about it. When you sit fully on the external, there's not a lot you can do about the economy. There's not a lot you can do about the workforce and the quality of the workforce, right? Some food for thought.